They lied to you. For decades, you handed over your hard-earned cash, paying the Toyota tax, believing you were buying immortality in steel form. You signed the papers at the dealership, ignored the markup, and slept soundly, knowing your truck would outlive you. But that contract has been breached. If you value your financial future, you need to subscribe right now because the automotive industry is shifting into a predatory phase where brand loyalty is being weaponized against your wallet, and this channel is the only dossier you have against the corporate machine. We are looking at a catastrophic failure of engineering and ethics surrounding the V35A FTS engine, the twin-turbo heart of the new Tundra. And this is not just a recall, this is a cover-up of forensic proportions. Let us strip this down to the molecular level. The previous generation, the 3UR-FE 5.7-liter V8, was a blunt instrument of reliability. It was over-engineered, inefficient, and practically indestructible. It was cast aluminum with iron liners that could withstand thermal cycles that would crack lesser blocks. But the EPA and federal fuel economy standards forced Toyota's hand. They needed efficiency. They needed forced induction. Enter the V35A FTS. On paper, it is a marvel, a 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6 with a 10.4-to-1 compression ratio, utilizing D4S injection, which combines both direct and port injection to optimize fuel atomization and prevent carbon buildup on the intake valves. It uses an aluminum die-cast cylinder block with a closed-deck design for rigidity under high boost pressures. But here is where the nightmare begins. Reports are flooding the NHTSA database, specifically complaint numbers that outline total engine seizure at highway speeds. We are talking about main bearing failure. To understand why this is costing American families $50,000 in depreciation overnight, we have to look at the manufacturing process. The issue has been traced back to machining debris. During the production of the engine block at the Alabama and Japan plants, metal shavings, microscopic swarf left over from the milling of the oil galleys and crankshaft journals, were not properly flushed from the block assembly. These are not visible to the naked eye during a standard inspection. These are micron-level particulates of aluminum and steel. When you start this engine, the oil pump, which is a variable displacement pump designed to maximize efficiency by altering flow based on RPM and load, picks up this debris. The oil filter should catch this, right? Wrong. The debris is often located post-filter in the oil passages, or the bypass valve opens during cold starts, allowing unfiltered oil to circulate to protect the engine from starvation. This contaminated oil is pushed under high pressure directly into the main bearings. The main bearings are the critical interface between the spinning crankshaft and the stationary engine block. They rely on a hydrodynamic wedge of oil, a microscopic film that prevents metal-on-metal contact. When a piece of machining debris enters this space, it bridges that gap. It scores the Babbitt material of the bearing surface. This creates friction. Friction creates heat, intense localized heat that exceeds the melting point of the bearing material. The bearing welds itself to the crankshaft journal. The engine does not just stop, it seizes with the violence of a sledgehammer hitting concrete. Connecting rods, made of high-strength sintered forged steel, are subjected to infinite compressive loads instantly. They snap. They punch windows through the side of the aluminum block. Oil sprays onto the hot exhaust manifolds. This is a catastrophic thermal event. This is happening to trucks with less than 5,000 miles on the odometer. This is happening to families towing campers through the Rockies. And Toyota's initial response? Silence. Then a blame game. Dealerships across the United States, from AutoNation to Lithia Motors, started denying warranty claims, citing abuse or lack of maintenance on trucks that had not even reached their first scheduled oil change. This is gaslighting at a corporate level. Let's look at the financials. A replacement V35A long block costs upwards of $20,000 when you factor in labor at $200 an hour, plus the twin turbochargers, which often need replacement due to oil starvation collateral damage. If you are out of warranty, or if Toyota denies your claim, you are looking at a bill that rivals the down payment on a house. This has triggered a collapse in resale value. Go to Manheim Auctions, look at the MMR data. The wholesale value of 2022 and 2023 Tundras is plummeting faster than a stone in a vacuum. CarMax is lowballing trade-ins because they know the risk. They know they might be buying a ticking time bomb. This is the Toyota tax in reverse. You paid a premium for reliability, and now you are paying a penalty for beta testing their emissions compliance technology. The class action lawsuits are already being filed. Filings in the Eastern District of Texas are alleging that Toyota knew about the machining debris shoe and the design flaws in the main bearing oiling pathways, but continued to sell the vehicles to maintain market share against the Ford F-150 and the Chevrolet Silverado 1500. The legal discovery phase is going to be brutal. They will be looking for internal emails, engineering change orders, and production logs that prove knowledge of the defect. This is reminiscent of the Takata airbag crisis or the GM ignition switch recall, but it cuts deeper because it strikes at the very core of Toyota's brand identity, QDR, quality, durability, reliability. Those three letters are the only reason a consumer buys a Tundra over a Raptor or a Ram TRX. Without QDR, the Tundra is just an overpriced, underperforming truck with a sterile interior and a V6 that sounds like a vacuum cleaner. And it gets worse. Let's talk about the wastegate actuators. The electronic wastegate actuators on these turbos are prone to seizing. The ECU logic, specifically the torque demand mapping, tries to compensate for the lack of boost by adding timing or fuel, leading to erratic drivability before the truck goes into limp mode. The fix? A cab-off repair. That means the technician has to lift the entire body of the truck off the frame to access the turbos tucked against the firewall. This is a 20-hour job. In American dealerships where turnover is high and experienced master technicians are retiring, who is doing this job? An apprentice? A lube tech? The potential for post-repair issues is astronomical. Loose grounds, pinched wiring harnesses, coolant leaks. Once you lift the cab, the truck is never the same. We are witnessing the erosion of the Japanese manufacturing ethos in real time, diluted by the pressures of Wall Street and the EPA. The V35A is a marvel of complexity, but complexity is the enemy of longevity. The more systems you have, twin turbos, intercoolers, electronic wastegates, variable valve timing on intake and exhaust, D4S injection, active grille shutters, air dams, the more points of failure you introduce. The 3URFE had none of this. It just had displacement and thirst. But gas is cheaper than a $20,000 engine replacement. The calculus has changed. If you own one of these trucks, you are playing Russian roulette with your transportation. You need to be sending oil samples to Blackstone Laboratories at every oil change. You need to be inspecting your filter media for glistening metallic flakes. You need to keep every receipt, every document, every interaction with the service advisor documented in writing. Because when the seizure happens and the silence from corporate follows, that paper trail is your only weapon in arbitration. This is not just about a truck. It is about the death of the forever vehicle. We are moving into an era of disposable appliances on wheels, leased for 3 years and discarded. Toyota was the last holdout, the last bastion of the 20-year truck. And with the V35A, that era is officially dead. The $5 billion gamble to modernize the Tundra has resulted in a product that is objectively less reliable than the truck it replaced, effectively burning the equity of loyal customers to appease regulators. Subscribe to the channel, because in the next video, we are going to expose the transmission failures that are starting to surface in the 10-speed automatic, another nightmare waiting in the wings. This is the new reality. Welcome to the decline.